Now let's go to former senior advisor to President Trump, Christian Whiton. Christian, welcome back to the program here. Big breaking news here. Former U.S. National Security Advisor to Donald Trump, John Bolton, has been indicted. A federal grand jury has indicted Mr. Bolton on charges of mishandling classified information. And it sounds, from the reports I've read, he is alleged to have sent sensitive documents relating to national security through a personal email account. That's a big no-no if you've got a top-secret clearance. The U.S. president had this to say.
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but that's the way it goes.
The case against him?
That's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes. Will I what?
Have you reviewed the case against him?
No, I haven't. But I just think he's a bad person.
Christian, put aside the great call out to some of his best material with the, you're just telling me this for the first time line here, but if this is true, if these allegations are correct, these are very serious allegations. Ordinary people with security clearances who've done things like this have been put away.
Absolutely. I was talking to a friend who was with the FBI in San Diego, and every year there's sort of a young non-commissioned officer who shows some lowly classified information to a girlfriend because he thinks it's cool, and, end of career, probable jail time. This, on the other hand, is someone who served at the Justice Department and at the State Department and at the White House and knows exactly what the rules are, had access to the highest classified information, and at least according to the indictment, which is just a government accusation, it's not conclusive proof, but held sensitive, compartmentalized information, top secret information, the highest level stuff at his home, and put it into email and used it in his book. So this is someone who knew the rules and broke them pretty clearly, according to the indictment.
Yeah, and that would put the lie to the idea that this is just sort of a revenge prosecution here, because this is a narrative that they keep pushing that, oh, well, they're going after John Bolton or Letitia James because they're just trying to get back, Trump's just trying to get back his enemies. But that's not necessarily the case here, is it?
It's not. Actually, this is a case of an injustice being put right through prosecution, because Bolton just so clearly, he put this book into the review process. He sent the manuscript just 4 months after he was fired. No one writes a book in 4 months. That means that throughout his short tenure as National Security Advisor, and this was rumored at the time, and frankly, I warned some friends at the White House that he did this when he was U.S. Ambassador to the UN. He was working on the book while he was still in government. That was probably one of the big reasons to go in, I think, was to make a splash and come out. But Judge Lamberth, who's a name you may recall from the Lewinsky scandal era, a Reagan appointee, basically told Bolton, because the government was trying to stop publication, all the books were published, all of them, they were already distributed. And the judge says, well, I'm not going to stop this now because I can't, but it seems like you broke the law. That was in the early Biden administration. Biden didn't prosecute, and now Trump has. So finally, justice is being served.
Good stuff. Hey, Christian, on to other news here out of Washington here. This shutdown of the government is remaining in place. U.S. lawmakers are trying to shift blame. The Democrats are trying to blame the Republicans, but Senate Democrats have just blocked an $852 billion bill that would have at least kept defense funded through September. I don't know how the Democrats can keep saying that it's the Republicans that are responsible for this when they're the ones holding it up. And explain to us the majorities that are actually needed to pass funding bills, because I think some of our viewers here in Australia need a little bit of understanding of that process and why it's not just a straight majority vote.
Right. Well, a lot of things in the Senate require 60 out of the 100 senators to vote for cloture, to stop a limit debate. And if you don't get that, then you just assume debate will go on interminably and don't proceed, move on to something else, or go home. There are things called budget reconciliation that only require a bare majority under the current rules of the Senate, which actually Republicans could unilaterally change. Bills like these do need 60 votes, and that's unfortunately why Democrats, who only have 47 seats, are able to obstruct obstruct this. Typically, they wouldn't. This isn't deciding all of the next fiscal year. It's just extending appropriations while the debate goes on. The Democrats, I think, erroneously think the politics of this are on their side, but the military has already missed one pay date. The next one comes up at the end of the month. So it's not just people who are, studying spotted owls in California for the Forest Service. It's actually people who matter for our national security who are now not being paid for work that they've already done. And I think, people are going to start getting more upset with the Dems.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty shocking. That given everything that's going on in the world, if you're not giving your soldiers a paycheck, that seems like a pretty bad idea. Christian Whiton, thank you so much for your time here. Always love having you here on the show.